so interesting. Ah! But I love... Oh! Ooh. Ooh. Oh, it's got dings on it. For those that don't know, my body is a machine. A machine that turns functional appliances into bundles of wires. Doohickeys, thingamabobs, various circuit boards. The poor appliance that's receiving this treatment today was a leak detector, a helium leak detector, which I acquired from the optical engineering lab at my university. I did not steal it. I merely took it from the rubbish pile. They were throwing it out. I couldn't let it go to waste. And I've been learning vast amounts about things that will never be useful to me, but I find very, very interesting. Such as, what is a helium leak detector? How does it work? How does this mass spectrometer work? This detects atoms of helium. How does this turbovac work? This makes a vacuum better than space. I don't even know where to start with this, so it's where's this video? What's this video about? I'm gonna make a wild guess here and say, if you're watching this, you're probably not very interested in the intricacies of helium leak detection, because, I mean, who is? But what I will do, I think, is just show you the insides of this thing, and just explain how they work to the best of my ability. A leak detector is basically used to test how airtight something is, and it works by like. So what we learned from that rambling explanation was that this machine needs to do two things. Firstly, it needs to pull a vacuum. Secondly, it needs to detect helium. So let's look at the vacuum problem first. There are two things to consider here. We need to pull two types of vacuum. We need to pull a vacuum on the glassware we're detecting, and we also need to pull a vacuum on the mass spectrometer. There are two types of vacuums in vacuum speak. Well, maybe there are more, but there's a low vacuum and a high vacuum. Contrary to what it sounds like, a low vacuum is a shitty vacuum. A high vacuum is a really good vacuum. We only need to pull a low vacuum on the glass on whatever we're testing, right? The mass spectrometer needs a high vacuum to even function. We'll get into this later, but the high vacuum needs to be really good. So there needs to be literally no atoms in the chamber of this mass spectrometer. How do we accomplish that? Well, we use a two-stage pumping design. The first stage uses this, which is a vane pump. Oh my god, it's heavy. This is the kind of pump that you'll find in most things that need a vacuum. It can move a lot of air, but it can't make a very good vacuum. I mean, it makes a good vacuum, but like not in terms of high vacuum. It pulls a low vacuum basically. The second stage is this. This is a turbomolecular pump. This can create a high vacuum. This, though, can only move a very small volume of air, and it can only function once a certain level of vacuum is reached. So how this works is this vane pump does most of the heavy lifting, and then this turbo pump does kind of like just the last little bits. Okay, so now we've got a high vacuum. But what exactly do we need a high vacuum for? Well, oh my god. We need a high vacuum for the mass spectrometer. This works by ionizing atoms and sending them into a magnetic field. Those ionized atoms then curve in an arc in the magnetic field and arrive at the detector. So it knows that only atoms of a certain mass will curve in the right way so they land in a particular spot. So it detects anything that lands in that spot it knows is a helium atom, because it just knows. I think what I'm going to do is take this apart on camera, and then we'll find out how it works basically. Ooh, okay, this is clever. How do I break the seal? Well, it's got a little thread in it, so you just put in the bolt that you took out of it, and you just screw it in. Oh my god! Yeah, and it just breaks it free. Oh my god, I feel like Doc Brown inserting his plutonium. How I understand it is, do you see in there, there's a little kind of spring. It's like a little coil of wire. That is the thermionic emission source. So that is heated up. It's like a light bulb, and it boils off electrons. This sort of dome-shaped casing, that's the anode, I think. That has a high charge applied to it. So the negatively charged electrons are accelerated, or they are drawn to this this anode, and they are fired out the end of this hole right here. So yeah, this is the yttrium-coated iridium anode that I was cathode that I was talking about. So that's interesting. Now I want to figure out how this detector works. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, it's got a dingus on it. Oh wow. That's not what I was expecting at all. What have we got going on in here? Well, yeah, it's just a big empty space. Because once the atoms are ionized, they need a clear path to fly in. Okay, so it looks like we've got some shielding here. Woo! The charged ions, the charged atoms of helium come streaming in through this hole, and they hit this detector. That the atom just hits that backplate, which then has a charge, which then is charged, and this must be some kind of amplification circuit, which turns one atom of charge into something that the machine can detect. Wow, that was really effective. Ah! Oh, it's hot. Wow, okay. Oh! Oh my god, it's just so nicely machined. Look at this. Look at this shit. Oh my god. Wow. Oh my god, I love this thing. Okay, now we've got some interesting bits. Oh, alright. Wow. Okay. So yeah, this is some kind of amplification circuit. Okay, well, that is suitably fascinating. I'm just gonna pop this back together loosely, I guess, except I cut off the fucking... Oh, never mind. Oh, look at how nicely that fits. Wowee. Zooey mama. That is gorgeous.